I am reading from an upcoming book, and it's called Being Quiet, Finding Solitude, and How It Healed Me. And I'm partially just reading this so that to help me in the writing process, honestly. But if people enjoy listening to it, that would make me very happy. It begins with a diary entry. April, like a meditation. April 22nd, 2024. I circled my own thoughts like a vulture, catching an incredible gust. For over a week, I spoke only to my mother and the grocers. It started with a bad feeling about a relationship I am working on, and also part of the buildup was PMS, which can affect minds. I went from a place of love to a place of defensive mental hating, fending off anyone who might want my attentions, protecting my peace. My peace of mind knew, though, that I did not need any communication or relationship to find peace. I knew I am resilient enough to get through anything, and this small suffering was positive. I was positive I could overcome solo. The hate thoughts dissipated, and I protected my solitude. I remembered what I learned in college about contemplation. I need more quiet than most people, maybe because I'm introverted, or just how my brain processes and proceeds. On the other side of the torrent, I felt uninjured by the strong winds I had flown through. I had told my best friends, who text me daily, I would probably not reply for a long time, and they all seemed uninjured by my absence. Let solitude heal you. Feel the liberty to take the silence you need, and if questions arise, rest in their arms. If it feels just as painful to be as alone, you need to dig into the question of why. Personally, the only problem with the solitude is that I love it so much, and there is a part of me that knows I am isolating by someone's definition, but I realize their definition is not what matters. So here's the next section, which is like a small essay. Not a life sentence. I recently heard on a podcast a quote that I did not write down, but broadly speaking, it said that the major mental illness of schizoaffective disorder is not a static illness, in that over 80% of cases end up with a differing diagnosis or no longer have the same diagnosis at some point in their life. What does that mean for me? I have been diagnosed schizoaffective a few years. I can't speak knowledgeably about medical statistics. I'm editing. Because I am not a doctor, but I am aware of my own experiences, and I have had a mental illness, and I can say that I had what I had when I was 17 or 18 takes a much different form from what I have now. This is not just my opinion. Anyone who knew what I was going through and who has known me through the years knows I am different now. The least part of me is different. At least part of me is different. My symptoms are what I am referring to that has been changed. There was a time when I struggled with major symptoms, including psychosis and mania. Now all I seem to experience is depression and anxiety, due largely to a prescription medication I now take. Who am I and how I exhibit symptoms has been an ongoing metamorphosis with weekly shifting. I make progress, then go backwards. That is inevitable. But it's important to retain hope and awareness of the broader picture. And I am always improving, even if I just took a step back. At least I'm not in the hospital currently, for instance. It is important to be able to see the good and be positive in the growth I am making over time. Progress is happening just by getting out of bed each morning and making my bed. So here's the next section. This is a book about solitude and how it healed me. I am writing this book with experience and awareness, exploring contemplative solitude, but knowing I am currently at a turning point with solitude where more growth is right around the corner. So, my plan is to record the growth as it happens in this book. Let me start by telling you about solitude and what it means to me. Poem. Got up too early, excited to write a book about quiet. Quiet might have been sleeping longer, but here I am, in the slow grow. It's okay to take back steps. You're still moving forward. Clamp your teeth around the prize of living a healthier life. Field out beyond wrongdoing and right doing. When I finally transferred for the last time, I met my advisor Libby on the first day of school during orientation. It was towards the end of the first day, and all of Libby's advisees collected together in the cafeteria to see what activity she had planned for us. She seemed happy to announce we would be hiking together in a nearby patch of woods, though she wanted to make sure everyone would be comfortable with it. I was ecstatic to be getting some time in nature, though I wasn't sure about anything else that was happening. 2009 was the year, 9 years since I had graduated high school and had my first episode of what then was diagnosed as bipolar disorder. It had taken some turmoil and growth for me to be able to transfer to Berea College in Kentucky, and it was requiring a lot of work already, and classes hadn't even started. I had committed to graduating, but on day one, I had a feeling that made a wrong move that I had made a wrong move going so far from home to attend college. Plus, I was having a minor crisis that day because my sister and her husband had accidentally driven off with my vital medications in their car when she dropped me off, and I was having to navigate figuring out how to have a temporary refill to be sent to a nearby pharmacy. And I had missed the first night of medicine I ever remembered missing because I have always been religious about medicines. To add to my inner turmoil, I had missed a lot of sleep the night before, and I had been up later than usual calling a local Quaker at my father's suggestion because he thought she might help me get my medication that night instead of missing the dose. But when she was unable to help me that night, I let go of my extreme anxiety around missing the dose of psychotropic medication as best as I could, but it was hard to fall asleep still. And I woke super early in a state of fear, but also extreme excitement at the new campus and the people I had met the day before. So when I met Libby, I guess I was a little frazzled by all that happened the previous night, and I think I might have been a little snippy towards her and other students. But we got to go on a walk in a nearby woods, and through a beautiful couple fields with lovely fall weeds and wildflowers. Libby might have mentioned contemplation that day, I'm not sure. But in 2 years, she would be teaching me a class I had to apply to take called contemplative writing, which was a short term intensive class in the winter involving travel in retreat centers and monasteries. It was a class that would change my life forever, though I still didn't know all the ways in which it would change me, and that seems to be a works in progress. It was the class I learned to love solitude, or that I already do. So, as we began our walk over the first soccer field and up the beautiful curved bridge, I was stepping into unknown fields of the metaphorical kind as well. It was beginning my journey of healing curiosity around the subject of quiet. It is 2024 when I write this. I'm 41 years old. That was a long time ago, and I'm so grateful for Libby and all of the friends who walking with me, especially a freshman named Andrea who became a friend and who was fun to point out things as we trod along, which really inspired unexpected joy. Here's a poem called Being Quiet. There is a part of you that is quiet. Maybe quiet is as old as conscious self. For awareness to ask a question, somehow that question needs to rest for a while in the space that silence gives. It may bang a drum. I may bang a drum, but I am also quiet. You might feel you hate being alone. You hate your thoughts. You can stand to be just with your thoughts. I have felt bad in my own company, but I know it has healed me to overcome that feeling. Go to that quiet place, ask the question, think the thought your mind has been toying with for months and years each day. I must think the thought too. It has been on the tip of my tongue. Let me go to that quiet place and think. So I think those first 7 pages of the book are enough to whet some curiosity. And that was the part that I had kind of forgotten what happened. So I wanted to hear myself read it aloud. Sometimes that makes it easier to read. Thank you for listening. I'm sleepy. All right, take care.